Hello, I'm Dr. Steve Hotze, and I'm here with a longtime friend of mine and a guest at the Hotze Health and Wellness Center, Brandon Valorani. Brandon, thank you for being here with us today.
Thank you for having me.
The reason I wanted to have Brandon visit with you about his stories because it's a story about men's health. And you know, a lot of our guests, and frankly, the majority of our guests are women, but men need help as they mature, just like women do. And Brandon's story is great. Now, Brandon and I have been friends since 2004. We're members of an organization called American Vision, which is a Christian-based organization that spreads a Christian worldview and tries to encourage Christians to be involved in every area of life and to stand up for their values, not only with their family and in their church, but in their community and in the public square. So Brandon's been instrumental in that. Brandon also has numerous businesses of his own in the Atlanta area where he's from, and that's how I know Brandon, because American Vision is located in Atlanta. Now, Brandon, we've been friends for a long time, and I know you told me several years ago that you were concerned about your liver enzymes being raised. Now, why did that concern you?
Well, I didn't know how bad it was, and so I picked up the phone and called you, and you started asking me some questions about what medicines was I taking, and it turns out that we discovered I was on Crestor for high cholesterol.
Which is a statin drug, and the statin drugs poison the liver, and oftentimes they raise the liver enzymes, which is not good because the liver is the detox organ, and if you're poisoning your liver, that's not good. You want a healthy liver because you want to be able to detox all the environmental pollutants and toxins that are here. So, and I found out you were also on Prilosec for indigestion and all that. So I encourage you to get off these drugs.
Right.
And I put you on some milk thistle. Now, I did this without even seeing you as a patient. I did it as a friend. Milk thistle, alpha-lipoic acid, get on a Hotze Power Pack. What happened to your liver enzymes?
Well, they immediately went down. So we checked it again in a month, and it was back to normal.
So anybody out there that's taking statin drugs, I want to tell you they're very dangerous drugs. They cause a host of side effects, anywhere from global amnesia, decreasing your cognitive thinking, to destroying coenzyme Q10, which is imperative for your heart to have energy and all the cells of your body to have energy. So we rocked along, and you got that under control. But then, now you're an entrepreneur.
Right.
You've got a number of, how many different businesses do you own?
5 groups of businesses. There's with a myriad of LLCs and partnerships, so I don't want to bore anybody with that, but 5 groups of businesses.
So your main business is?
Well, I have an internet news organization with about 100 different websites. I have a fulfillment center. I have a firearms store, and I have a coffee, wine, and cigar business, and an email sending company.
So it's more than just a few. I like to say to all my friends when I introduce Brandon Valorani, he's a serial entrepreneur. He thinks of more ideas. He drives down the street, and he comes up with new ideas for new businesses all the time, which is what entrepreneurs do. And so entrepreneurs always have all these various business interests, and you have a number of staff. I don't know how many you have on your staff, but you've got a lot of staff members that you've got to guide and direct and motivate. So you're 42 now. You came in here in the spring of 2015 when you were 40 or 41.
Right.
And you said, I wanted to come see you about some issues I was having. Tell me what they were.
Well, first of all, people close to me, business partners, realized that I wasn't the same guy that started the businesses, that my drive was slipping, my energy level was slipping, focus, and I just attributed it to stress. And I noticed that here you are more than 20 years older than me, but this doesn't seem to be happening to Dr. Hotze. And what's the secret here?
What's the secret sauce? He wants some sauce.
Exactly. So I entered the program here. Somewhat, I mean, I wasn't skeptical because I've seen the results, but I thought, oh, I'm fine. You know, I'm fine. I've got plenty of energy, I thought, but I really didn't. The people around me had noticed a slow decline.
Right.
So once I got in here, I realized that my testosterone wasn't as high as it could be.
In fact, for a man your age, it was in the gutter.
Yep.
I mean, it was at the low level of normal.
Right.
And testosterone affects your initiative, assertiveness, sense of well-being, self-confidence, moods, goal orientation, drive, directiveness, decisiveness, analytical ability. Those are all brain functions. Both male and female sex hormones affect your brain neurotransmitters and influence them to be in the proper balance. And if you don't have enough hormones, then guess what? Your brain doesn't think right.
You're right about that, because I have 7 children, so I thought, well, that's never been a problem. But I guess with age, it does become a problem. And then thyroid, I was really surprised that I needed thyroid. I thought that was something more for women, my mom. And so when I got on the thyroid and the cortisol,
And
the
you're under a lot of
testosterone,
stress, and so
yes,
he had some adrenal fatigue, so we put him on a little bit of
Right.
cortisol to support the adrenal
and
glands.
vitamin B.
Got your vitamin B, so you take your testosterone and vitamin B by injections,
Correct.
don't you? Okay.
Yes.
And we got you on a good eating program, Paleolithic eating program, which is high in vegetables and 8 or so ounces of meat at least every day. And then we have good fats in the system, particular fish oils that we like to replace the bad fats in your body. We like to do an oil change in your mind and in your cells. Get rid of the bad oils, the trans fatty acids from all the processed foods, and we replace that with natural oils that have the omega-3 essential fatty acids, which you can't make. You got to take them exogenously, and that drives out the bad oils and puts good oils and makes your cells function and operate well. So we did that. Good eating program, vitamin and mineral supplementation program. Okay, that was in the spring of 2015. Has it made any difference at all?
It sure has.
Well, tell me how.
Well, I've lost over 20 pounds, and I feel 20 again, to put it bluntly. I feel like I could start new businesses. I'm not going to. I'm taking a break on that for a little bit, but I feel like I could have the energy and stamina to do that again, and then the focus as well. So,
Well, tell me about your businesses. How have you done in your businesses?
well, they've grown. Every year, each business has grown over the previous year. My largest business has been an Inc. 5000 company for 5 years in a row. So we've been recognized for being one of the fastest growing privately held companies in America 5 years in a row, from 2012 to now.
And so having all these different businesses creates a real demand on you
It does.
to manage and direct. You have to do a lot of multitasking. How has the treatment program affected your abilities there?
Well, if I hadn't have become a guest here at the clinic, I think I would have probably lost a business or two by now, maybe given up on one of them, and not certainly have grown the company to where it is today. And my staff is expecting me to be a leader, and if you don't have the energy and the vision and the positive thinking to do that every day, you're going to let a bunch of people down. So,
Well, that's right. And you know what is very interesting? You're writing a book now, which is awesome. And he's going to talk about your entrepreneurial experiences, which is going to help particularly those of you that are in business, men or women that are in business for yourselves. This book is going to be great. What's the name of it?
The Wolves and the Mandolin.
The Wolves and the Mandolin. Now, that's an interesting name for a book.
Right, for a business book in particular.
Yeah, so tell us about the story.
Well, we all have a past of our ancestors, and so I did some digging when I lost my grandmother a few years back, my Italian grandmother. My grandfather, who was 92, passed away at 92 earlier this year, he began to tell me a lot of our family history.
Now, where does your family, obviously, Valorani's
Correct.
Italian,
Right.
Italian.
Exactly. So we have some really colorful stories from our past. One in particular is my grandmother's uncle, who was a traveling musician in Italy.
Minstrel.
He was called a minstrel, and he made his living by playing music from village to village. And he was in the foothills of the Apennine Mountains, and of course those are beautiful mountains that are covered with snow, and they look gorgeous. I was just there in April. You'll see vineyards in the foothills. It's so picturesque. But there are wolves in those mountains, and so one day as he was traveling home, he encountered a pack of wolves, and they basically treed him. So in order not to get devoured, he stayed up in the tree and played his mandolin until morning, and the wolves dissipated, and he went home after that. But there's a life lesson there, that there's wolves in our life. It could be our health, it could be business competition, it could be financial issues, family issues. There's all these wolves snarling at your door, and how do you deal with that? Do you just cave in? Do you lock yourself in? Or do you figure out how to overcome the wolves and make music and create value and joy in other people around you?
Well, you've done that, and you saw one wolf in your life, which was your health.
Right.
And you did a 180. You're traveling down this highway, and you're going on a one-way the wrong way, and over the hill there's a Mack truck, and you realized it was coming on you early.
Right.
And so you slammed on the brakes and you did a 180 and you took charge of your health. So the credit goes to you. We're like your health coaches. You're the health athlete. There's an Olympics that we're in. You're in them. I'm not. I'm the coach. I want you to win a gold medal, but you've got to do the heavy lifting. And I'm going to congratulate you for taking charge of your health and doing a 180.
Thank you,
proud
sir.
of you, buddy.
Thank you.
And I appreciate what an encouragement you are to me and our entire staff every time.